Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. Today, we are undertaking a really critical deep dive. We're tackling what might be the most insidious strategic problem in the modern workplace. That's email overload and all the organizational friction that comes with it. We're talking about the tool we all use the most, email, and how to stop treating it like a casual note and, start treating it like the productivity machine it needs to be.
It's so much more than an inbox problem, isn't it? It's really a financial one. We're going to be extracting some real nuggets from our source material on strategic messaging, and it's all aimed squarely at improving speed and preventing miscommunication. This isn't about correcting grammar. It's about writing messages that compel immediate, correct action.
Absolutely. The core mission today is to give you the blueprint for messages that save you time, eliminate those endless follow-up threads, and prevent that awful feeling when an email lands and just creates more work for everyone.
The fundamental premise driving all the advice here is simple, but, it's so often forgotten. You write emails to get things done, period. Clarity drives action, and ambiguity, well, that just introduces friction.
And that friction isn't abstract.
No, not at all. Think about a 5-minute email that, because it's vague, triggers 15 minutes of clarification from 3 different people. That's 45 minutes of wasted salary, potential frustration, and a project that's stalled for a day. We really need to internalize the real cost of being unclear.
That really grounds it in financial and project reality. So, okay, we need to think strategically before we even open the compose window. What's the single most important step before we start typing?
It's defining your intent. The source insists that before you type a single word, you have to name the exact purpose and the response you expect.
So, like, what do I actually want from this person?
Exactly. Are you sending this for information? Do you need a decision? Are you just seeking confirmation that something happened? Or are you requesting a specific action? You have to boil that purpose down to a single crisp sentence and then state it right at the very top of the message. If you can't state your purpose that clearly, you probably shouldn't send the email yet.
That focus makes a ton of sense, but sometimes, the medium itself is the problem. Okay, let's unpack that. Choosing the right tool for the job. We all default to email, but sometimes we need to switch to a call or a meeting. What's the decision matrix here?
The material is very pragmatic about this. Email is a default for a reason. It's fantastic when you need a clear time-stamped record or when you're sharing files, coordinating simple approvals, routine updates. It is, and this is critical, the king of asynchronous coordination.
For our listeners, that just means you're coordinating across teams or time zones without needing everyone to be online at the exact same moment. That's where email shines, because the record is static. It doesn't demand an instant response.
Exactly. But where the system breaks down is with complexity and sensitivity. You should switch immediately to a call or a meeting when topics are complex, highly sensitive, or when the discussion really needs nuance and tone.
And what's the big red flag?
The ultimate danger sign is thread proliferation. If you see message number 5 pop up in a short time frame, just stop typing.
Right.
You've chosen the wrong channel. Offer 2 meeting times and then document the outcome in a note later.
That's a very practical switch point. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, once we've chosen email, we have to think about the recipients, the TO, CC, and BCC fields. This is something people usually do in 2 seconds, but the source treats it as a powerful triage tool.
Oh, it absolutely is. Triage is the key word. The source suggests making it a clear expectation that anyone in the CC field understands their role is purely informational. They are exempt from taking action unless they are specifically named in the body.
So they're just there for visibility.
Purely for visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, if you're in the TO field, you assume direct accountability for the requested action or response.
That is crucial for managing expectations, especially on big teams. The moment you put too many people in the TO line, you get that diffusion of responsibility. Everyone thinks someone else will handle it.
Precisely. And BCC should really be reserved for those rare cases where a third party needs to be aware, but adding them would derail the conversation or breach privacy. Think maybe informing a supervisor about a sensitive HR issue. It has to be used sparingly, strategically, not just as a passive visibility tool.
That strategic pre-work is half the battle. So now that we know where we're sending the message, we can get into the actual architecture of the email. And this is where the big efficiency gains happen. Here's where it gets really interesting for me. The principle of singularity, or the one-topic rule.
This is a core structural rule because it optimizes for the reader's time and prevents items from getting dropped. When you limit a message to a single point, people respond faster. There's just no confusion. Now, if you absolutely must cover related items, and I have to stress they must be related, you separate them. Use short labeled sections or a numbered list.
Okay, wait, I have to challenge that a bit. For a busy person, if I have two small, immediate asks for the same recipient, say, proving a flyer and confirming next week's meeting, sending two separate emails back to back feels like I'm spamming them. Doesn't that make me look less organized?
That's a common pushback, but the source argues pretty aggressively against it. When you combine those two things, you force the recipient to mentally switch contexts.
Okay.
So maybe they prove the flyer but then get distracted. The meeting confirmation often gets lost, which then requires a follow-up from you. By sending two quick, clearly subject-lined emails, you allow them to process and archive one request completely before moving to the next.
I see. So you're prioritizing their ability to get to inbox zero over my convenience of drafting one message.
Exactly. You're optimizing for the recipient's action time, not the sender's writing time.
Okay, that reframes it. So once we have that single topic, the structure has to be front-loaded and scannable.
This minimizes the effort for the reader. I mean, remember, so many people are reading email on their phone first, which really limits your attention span. The first sentence is paramount. It has to state the purpose and the requested action immediately. Don't make people scroll 3 paragraphs to find out why you're writing.
So state the purpose, then immediately make the explicit ask the owner and the due date. How do we make sure those details actually stand out?
Use short, active paragraphs. Never giant blocks of text. And critically, use formatting to enforce that clarity. The source has these tips that seem almost obsessive, but they pay off. Stop burying ownership and due dates in a sentence. Put them on their own line with clear labels like owner, Maya due, Thier 418 EOD.
That level of detail seems worth it because it turns a search task into an instant visual scan. Avoid all CPS. Bold only the critical parts.
Exactly. All CPS feels like you're shouting. Bold text just highlights. It's a small detail, but it's so effective.
Now, before all that, there's the front door to the email. The subject line. We need to treat it like a headline for triage, not just some label.
It has to work hard. It needs to mirror the body and include the expected action.
So if there's urgency, put the date or deadline right there.
Yes. For instance, instead of budget, use something like action required by Fry 510, approved Q2 budget. And using project or client tags, maybe in brackets like Project Nova, helps teams filter threads before they even open the message.
The examples in the source really drive this home. Instead of meeting, you use confirm, UX kickoff agenda for 2 p.m. That tells me exactly what mental effort is required, just a confirmation.
Right, or for finance, instead of invoice issue, it's invoice #8743 line item clarification needed.
Much more specific.
And here's a habit professionals often forget. If a thread switches topics, you must update the subject line. If you started on the budget and now you're discussing a hiring plan, change the subject to reflect the new singular topic. It makes future searches painless.
Let's pivot to language and tone then, because clarity isn't just about structure. It's about professional credibility and ensuring quick, global comprehension.
This is where language choice directly impacts speed. We need to be aggressive about cutting insider jargon unless you are absolutely certain it's shared across all teams. And the reason we do this isn't just politeness. It's because the cognitive load of decoding an acronym or some complex phrase can reduce reading speed and comprehension by, well, up to 20%. Prefer short, plain words, active verbs over passive ones.
And the tone check is crucial, especially now when so much communication is remote.
Just read the message aloud. It's the easiest way to catch if your tone is landing correctly. We've all seen a joke or sarcasm meant to lighten the mood, just sound cold or aggressive in writing. They just don't travel well. And if you're pushing back on something, stay solutions first. Offer clear alternatives. I suggest A, B, or C instead of just shooting down the original idea.
That's a great principle for preserving working relationships. Now, we often need to reference other documents or old threads. How do we manage that context efficiently without making the reader open 10 attachments?
You give them just enough background so they can act without digging through their archives. If you're referencing an error or a previous comment, paste a short excerpt or the exact error line right into the email. Name the source. Don't make them hunt for it.
And for links or attachments, we need to do better than please see attached.
Absolutely. The source calls please see attached a zero-value message. You need a one-line note for each link or attachment explaining what it is and why it matters to the reader right now.
Like what?
For example, Q3 roadmap V2 Toyo 25 AO7 10.pdf, updated milestones and dependencies, see page 3. It gives instant relevance.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the most crucial element, the thing that ties it all together. The unambiguous call to action. We need a structure that just eliminates follow-ups.
It has to be explicit, impossible to miss. Put the call to action on its own line near the top, and then repeat it at the end. And this request, it has to clearly state 5 things. Who must act, what you need, the explicit due date and time, the time zone if it's a distributed team, and the required response format.
Defining the response format that's so often overlooked, and it creates huge ambiguity.
It causes delays every single time. Don't just ask for feedback. Ask them to reply approved or needs changes by 5 p.m. Pacific on Friday. That specificity, it gives them a template for success. It lets you build processes around expected replies. It just eliminates the guesswork.
So what does this all mean? We've covered everything from pre-writing strategy to the obsessive use of formatting. The power here lies in creating a well-wrapped message that just cuts down the back and forth and keeps projects moving.
The core habit you should internalize is this. Put the ask where it can't be missed and name the owner for each next step. That ensures accountability and vastly improves your team's efficiency.
And before we close, the source provided a really practical tool, the 1-minute quick clarity checklist before sending. This is the final barrier against miscommunication.
Yes, use this mental scan every time before you hit send. Check for pronoun ambiguity. Does it or they clearly refer to something specific? Are there double negatives? Are your lists parallel? Ensure the subject line perfectly matches the request and that deadlines and owners physically stand out. And above all, verify that the main point is in the very first sentence.
That 1-minute scan is the difference between sending an actionable directive and sending, well, a piece of homework for your recipient.
Knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and applied. So, given that a thread stalls when multiple topics conflict, this raises an important question for you to consider. If your goal is to remove friction and save time for the recipient, how aggressively can you apply that one-topic rule? Should you send 2 quick, clear messages back-to-back to the same person rather than mashing them into one complicated message, even if they're closely related? Applying that habit consistently could change how you approach your inbox entirely, shifting you from a sender-optimized workflow to a recipient-optimized and far more productive outcome.